What CrossFit did is it lit a fire under my ass. Because CrossFit's fun, you know, and that's what life is.
We all know that feeling of, you know, you show up, you don't quit, you finish it, everything else gets numbed out. It puts everything in perspective.
You see a lot of families coming together, a lot of husband and wives coming together, working out together, kids coming in here, working as families.
If you enjoy something, just do that. And I enjoy CrossFit more than anything. I mean, I love it.
It's changed my life in every way, shape, and form in terms of the way I live my life, the way I eat, the way I go about my daily activities. I mean, the way I view challenges.
It helps me fight that burnout factor. It keeps it interesting. It's constantly varying, constantly changing. It's competitive, the atmosphere, the community. These things are what drive me. My name is Anthony Graff. I'm a co-owner of CrossFit Threshold, and I'm the sole owner of Believe Martial Arts. I've been ranked #1 in the middleweight division for the last 10 years in the sport of Taekwondo. Was the alternate for the last 2 Olympics. I used to live at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, and that's where I originally met Alicia Boren.
My name is Alicia Boren, and I'm one of the co-owners here at CrossFit Threshold. I'm also the director of the sports performance program we have here.
All right, let's go to arms, wrist in. Swing that other arm back, make sure you get a stretch in your shoulders.
I started Taekwondo at 7. I started competing 12, and by 13 I was already competing internationally. I finally made the US team in 2001 and moved out to the Olympic Training Center. Started really getting involved with Olympic lifting and kind of seeing the whole strength and conditioning side of being an athlete and seeing it as a supplemental to a sport.
Everybody flip over onto your back, and we're gonna march our calves out. Hit your feet in, stretching your rotators. Stretch to your right side, hold it.
I first started with having a martial arts program, and when I was doing my personal training, that I was training people very sport specific. We were doing things very different from the average bodybuilders that I was when I was in a bodybuilding gym. So I said, listen, I'm not gonna do this unless I could bring in Alicia. There was something about her intensity that really drew me to her. So we did this program, and all of a sudden it meshed into, you know, it got better and better, and we started growing, and all of a sudden this website pops up, and I was like, this is awesome. This is like, I mean, this is stuff I was doing, you know, and I was looking at these workouts, and I was like, look at the structure. I really love this program because it made sense. You know, Lish comes on board, and the next thing I know, that she had a really good friend, Chris, who was like just as enthusiastic about it as I was.
Hi, my name is Chris Holt. I'm one of the owners and trainers here at CrossFit Threshold down here in Miami. Probably 5 years ago, I was going to the University of Miami School of Architecture. And prior to that, throughout high school, I had dealt with a lot of health issues with my lungs. I've had 4 collapsed lungs, numerous surgeries. And those things really set me back because after all the lung surgeries, all my doctors said the same thing. They said, no weight training, no intensity. You are going to be bound to yoga and Pilates for the rest of your life. The movie 300 came out. I was intrigued by what they did and found out through Jim Jones and then eventually through CrossFit, that's what they were doing. So on my own in the gym at the University of Miami, I just did CrossFit workouts. So I started doing that, and I realized that I didn't have to isolate my muscles, and it was actually better for me because it was just more functional based movements, which was better on my chest and other things like that.
First time I heard about CrossFit was I was doing an internship at the Olympic Training Center, and I remember this wrestler comes in and was like, oh, you have to check out this video. There's this pregnant chick doing pull-ups. So she brings me to the website, I look it up, I'm like, okay, so I start kind of messing around with it. And at that time, Chris was getting involved with Jim Jones and looking at the CrossFit workout. So I would jump in here and there, doing some workouts with him at UM. It was kind of weird because we were the 2 crazy people jumping on the benches and trying to do pull-ups, and you know, we got a lot of stares.
I was working as an architect out of school for a couple years when I graduated in 2006. 5-year architecture degree. This is my path. I can't deviate away from this. I've put so much time and effort and money into this that I can't do anything else. My mouse was hovering over the button to sign up for L1 cert, and I must have been doing that for maybe 2 weeks in my office. Probably dedicated a good 15 minutes a day just looking at that page and deciding whether I was going to click that button and change my life. And so I did, and haven't looked back.
Chris had approached me about starting a CrossFit. I didn't think at first we had the demographic for it here in Miami. Nobody had started it. I told him, you know, hey, talk to Tony. He would totally be down to do something like that.
The first thing I said to Tony on the phone, I remember I said, hey, you want to open a CrossFit gym? And he says, let's do it. Didn't question, didn't ask me what it was. I knew that he kind of knew what it was, but he's kind of just, let's do it now rather than think about it.
Yeah, I'm a go-getter. I don't sit back on anything. I said, let's do this. Let's create this awesome program.
So they talked, they wanted to do it. They sat me down across the street at a Panera Bread and were like, listen, you know, we really want you on board. And so in the back of my head, I'm planning out, okay, how much savings do I have? Let me give this a year just so I can say at least I did it. And I was like, okay, I'll be on board.
So we joined forces and then opened up, and we've been growing ever since.
We cut a hole in the wall, we got this place. Now we use this side for overflowing CrossFit, CrossFit Kids, and my martial arts program, and solely do CrossFit next door.
So we had our Taekwondo program and our sports performance program to kind of fund the CrossFit. So we were super lucky in being able to just start in a back room. We already had some clientele, and from there we just slowly built it off of those two programs, and now CrossFit's our baby. It's our biggest program.
I wanted to create an affiliate that I wanted to go to. So we do a lot of coaching here. We create a community where everyone knows everyone by their first and last name. You know what they do, you know their hopes and their dreams, and everything about them, and it really makes for a much more supportive atmosphere.
The thing I love about here is that I'm training general population how it would train athletes, and I love that. And there's nothing better than seeing a whole class of moms and dads doing, you know, cleans or snatches, and you see a lot of families coming together, a lot of husband and wives coming together, working out together, kids coming in here working as families. So it's very gratifying for me to see them, and then it's also gratifying for me just to have something else to compete in.
Lish is the mastermind, you know, and Chris is he embodies what the stereotypical CrossFit enthusiast is. We need that, you know, and I really appreciate both of those guys being in my life.
Physically, I'm doing everything that doctors told me I wasn't going to be able to do, and just seeing the benefits of my overall quality of life, it's just infectious, and I want to spread, you know, this to everyone.
For me personally, it gives me that niche of competition again, but it gives me something to work towards. It's you know, goals and weights or goals and times.
I can do what I want to do when I want to do it, and I want to do it for as long as I can. And I think that's the motto that CrossFit tries to promote.
It's such a shared community. It made me find a new love.